Wrap up and get your skates on. Harbin, China's iconic winter city, is once again turning snow into gold with its traditional ice and snow festival. But there is more to it. Harbin, in northeast China's Heilongjiang province, is now pulling out all the stops to grow its winter economy. Other cities in other parts of China have also been joining in the action. For instance, in eastern and southern cities now want a piece of the action to boost their tourism and consumption sector. So how to go about it and what makes winter sports aficionados tick this year? Welcome to a special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin, coming to you from Beijing. I'm pleased to be joined from Beijing on the line by Professor Qinhua, Vice Dean of the National Academy of Development and Strategy at Renmin University of China. From Xinjiang, southern China's Jiangsu province, believe it or not, that's my hometown, by Tagi Mamadov, a PhD student from Azerbaijan who at Jiangsu University right now, who has visited Harbin. From Hokkaido, Japan, by Justin Downs, president of Axis Leisure Management, and also here in the studio, Professor Gong, vice president of the University of International Business and Economics, Israel. So the warmest welcome to all of the guests. But first of all, for those who are not very familiar with the city of Harbin, the northeastern Chinese city, which is pronounced like Harbinger without the j, is the northernmost capital city of China. Winter temperature can drop below minus 30 degrees Celsius there. It used to be part of China's first industrial belt and has been striving to boost its service industry. Now, the city has been organizing ice and snow festivals for 40 years, the longest such festival in the world. But it was not until last winter when the big Mana hit and the city became an internet sensation. Millions of young Chinese from the south especially flocked to the city to experience extreme cold topped with warm hospitality. For that winter season alone, Harbin received some 90 million tourists, up 300% year-on-year, generating 125 billion yuan, up 500%. Now, Harbin's success has made other cities in eastern, even tropical southern China green with envy. They have also started to capitalize on the ice and snow leisure gold rush, attracting locals, but also tourists from neighboring countries. As the 2025 Winter Asian Games is set to open in February in Harbin, the ice fever looks set to stay, and the competition between these cities, I guess, is only going to heat up. So let's talk about it. Let me go to Tagi first. Tagi, you visited Harbin. You spent your last New Year in Harbin. So how long did you stay, and what was it like?
Hello everyone. I will speak about my journal last year. I remember I asked to my Chinese friend where I need to spend my winter vacation. They told me if you want to enjoy your winter vacation, absolutely you need to go to Harbin. And then I planned, and the last year my New Year I spent in the Harbin. When I arrived, I see just I shocked because in my country we don't have like this chance to see. When I arrived at iCity, uh, I see these buildings and the architecture. This just shocked, and I don't how to say believe this is real or no. I just ran and touch. This is real. This is real. The how to make this. And also here have some the Russian influencer. Harbin is one of the ice city because it's annual the snow festivals, and also I see only this city in the cartoon, not in the real. When I share in my social media, my video watching the more than half million, the people ask where here is real. It's because some people can't believe this is real or no. It's very interesting and memorable day for me in the Harbin. Yeah, that's all.
Let's talk about it. It is fascinating, and for me, someone who is a southerner, and this will never change. For me, it's also fascinating, and I want to go to Professor Qinhua there. What exactly is so special about Harbin that it's going viral? Both it went viral last year, it's viral again this year, and it's viral not just in China but also in other parts of the world. There's been the trendy word, for instance, Harbin travel. What about this place that's so fascinating?
Yeah, thank you, Liu. I'm also a southerner, but I have been in Japan for almost 2 years, so I ski there, and also I ski in Zhangjiakou. You know that after Beijing's Winter Olympics, there the skiing and the ice and the snow industry is very booming. So in my understanding, that research indicates that a country typically experiences an upgrade in consumption of its per capita GDP exceeds $8,000, and $10,000 is an important threshold for the exploration of the sports industry, with the ice and snow industry achieving rapidly development during the same period. You know that from the 2000 before is from the $270 billion, and by now is the more than $800 billion. And in all the people understand it will break through trillion dollars. So it's really a very, very good and promising industry in China, just as you said.
Yeah, let's take a look at those numbers in just a moment. But I want to help people understand really what Harbin is by going to Justin. Justin, you are from Canada, also a winter sport country. Now you're in Hokkaido. Help us understand exactly what this phenomenon called Harbin is by comparing it with other, if you can, winter sports or leisure cities like Hokkaido, Davos, Zermatt, I don't know. Can you help explain why Harbin is so hot? So let's try to get that from John. Maybe John, if you can share with us your understanding. You also ski a little bit. I understand you skied in the United States.
Yeah, well, I will answer a question why Harbin is hot. Because it's cold, because of the weather. Essentially, it's a theme park. I mean, it's no different from Disneyland, I guess. It's Disneyland on ice, basically. It offers a unique experience. You know, you have these sculptured, big ice-made sculptures coupled with lighting at night. It just delivers a very unique experience. It's Fantasyland on ice, basically. And I think people would like to have this kind of experiences usually not exposed to during your daily lives. And it's coupled with things like wining and dining and street foods. It just the combination is a very good experience. I think it's fundamentally no different from going to Disneyland. Instead of spending $200, you spend probably maybe 200 yuan and get an entirely different experience that you can't get from other parts of the world.
But as I said, the theme park, the Ice and Snow Festival in Harbin has been going on for 40 years, since 1985. Why all of a sudden right now? A few pieces of the puzzle, for instance, the Winter Olympic Games, right? 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games, which really stoke up the enthusiasm for ice and snow. And but what are really some of the other factors that contributed to the coincidence? I want to go to Professor Xu here once again.
Yeah. Firstly, Harbin is rich in ice and snow resources as well as tourism resources. So Harbin combines its ice and snow resources with traditional Chinese culture, featuring distinctive ice sculpture, ice lantern exhibitions, and snow soccer in the ice and snow world and that's attract international tourism. Secondly, the Harbin government strongly supports and guides the tourism industry. The Harbin government has implemented various policies to attract the tourists, including free ticket policies, regulating the tourism industry, and facilitating urban transportation. Thirdly, I think is the kindness and hospitality of Harbin people are very known overseas. I like them. The straightforwardness, integrity, and the enthusiasm of Harbin's people. You know that. Another thing is blogger or overseas short video platforms such as TikTok have promoted Harbin by sharing their personal experience, very wonderful personal experience, and short videos, which have also promotes such kind of booming. So I'm jealous of the people who were there, and I will be joining them later. Thank you.
Okay, I hope we all have the chance. I'm really restless to go. But Justin, let me try again. Do you have similar phenomenon or places in the world that can compare with Harbin so people can have a better understanding of what this phenomenon really is?
Well, actually, there aren't that many, to be honest. I mean, lots of people are trying to emulate what Harbin does, but Harbin has been at this for such a long time and has really perfected it. And the rich culture that the organizers have put into this, it really tells a story for the tens of millions of Chinese people that have not seen snow and not experienced the culture. So it'd be a very tough thing to replicate. I mean, certainly people can travel around the world to see unlimited powder snow, such as Hokkaido, where I am right now, or other, say, rich cultural experiences like the French Alps or Scandinavia. But really what Harbin has done is really quite fantastic and be difficult to beat anywhere in the world, I think.
What about, let me go to John here, because China has been trying to promote the ice and snow economy for quite some time. For instance, when China announced its bid for the 2022 Winter Olympics, one of the goals was to popularize winter sports. Actually, there is a concrete number here. China pledged to involve 300 million people in ice and snow activities, and the actual number that was achieved was reported to be even larger than that. So how do you put the ice and snow economy or the ice and snow further into the bigger picture of China trying to develop its ice and snow economy? How much of a coordinated strategy that is?
Well, if you think about what really is ice and snow economy, I think it's mostly tourism. It's also sports. It's also maybe a little bit of a real estate as well. I think it's a general trend that as economy develops, you think about these developed countries, the percentage of the GDP that is attributed to the sports sector, to the tourism sector, tend to be growing a little bit more than developing countries, because people want to have a better life, exploring different things. Winter sports is a big thing in many countries, and I think it is barely, we're barely scratching the surface in China as of now. I don't think skiing and ice skating is being very popular in China. If you look at the number of people, the percentage of population who can do that, I mean, then it's very small. And so what it means is that there's a huge room for growth, and all of these developments all contribute to the new sectors of the economy, essentially boiling down to the GDP growth. So I think it's very important that as we talk about upgrading consumption, what do we mean by consumption? It's not just eating and dining and whining. I mean, there's also a lot of things like people want to take leisure time to do things, and sports and this kind of a tourism are definitely the new trends that people are chasing after. So I think it's no wonder that many cities in China would be tapping this very important, potentially fast-growing market. And certainly Harbin, being the coldest capital in China, is taking the lead in that trend.
Tagi, I want to turn to your personal experience here. Tagi, when you were there, what was your observation as to how people from different parts of the country come, and what did they do? What did they seek out in Harbin? What was the experience they were after?
Yeah, actually, when I travel here, and I didn't see too many foreigner. I only see from the Russian have the too many people because it's near. They have the border. But the other country, example, when I say in my country in Azerbaijan, maybe know this about this ice city only in the social media, but they never travel this city. That's maybe I need to say like this. Need a more promotion, advertisement about the Harbin, the ice city,
Yeah.
because other countries don't have more information about it.
Right, but my question really was, what was your observation of the Chinese people from different parts of the country? What were they doing in Harbin? What were they looking out for? What was your recollection?
I understand question. Actually, this will be difficult to answer this question because last year I am new in the China. Then I can't imagine this people doing what and enjoying or no. But I say I see here I have too many people just waiting to enter the ice city. Here I have too many people. That's mean the all Chinese the interest this place. They can travel in the Harbin in the winter. Also, I hear like this information about this. The all from the Guangzhou and other hot cities people just traveling to Dongbei in the winter vacation. They love to travel to Dongbei. Just I hear like this. This is my answer. Sorry.
I see, I see. So sweet.
Yes.
You remind me of my son. I'm sorry, similar age and talk very similarly. But this is how young people react these days, how young people talk these days. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have too many experience about it, and we just talk from when our mind.
It's very it's like that. Justin, help us understand the mentality of young people, for instance, these days, because they are the ones who show up this topic. You know, they're the ones who made Harbin so hot on social media, and probably they will continue doing this. Basically, they're doing this to all places around China. Justin, what is your understanding of the importance of young people in terms of boosting China's consumption and boosting the service sector, that the catering businesses have to cater to the needs of young people wherever they may be looking?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you just look around any ski resort or sporting venue around China, it's dominated by the 18 to 30-year crowd. And these people are really seeking experiences. They're not necessarily looking to have big homes and drive fancy cars. They're looking for experiences. So anything that is an adventure, anything that is, Xiaohongshu worthy or Douyin worthy, they're out there trying to have fun and share it with their friends. And that kind of covers the whole ecosystem, from what they're wearing, where they're going, how they're playing, skills that they're creating for themselves, memories, the food that they're eating. I mean, it's really all about creating a culture and a lifestyle for themselves. And that's something that the previous generation didn't do. It was more of a follower, whereas this younger generation is out there creating new pathways. So it's quite a little bit untraditional from a Chinese perspective, but this is the way the future is going, and it's unbelievably important to the economy. So the venue operators and owners need to keep the product affordable. They need to keep it interesting, because the more people get in, the more people that try it, the more people will see it, the more people will continue to stay with it. And that's how the life cycle of this industry needs to go.
John, here in the studio, how big is the potential? We already know that they have magical powers in terms of boosting numbers. For instance, just now, the ice and snow sector in China grew threefold in 8 years. We know that China has set a goal for ice and snow economy to reach 170 billion by 2027. And we also know that the business revenue of corporate enterprises in the secondary, tertiary industry was up by 50% compared with 2018. How big is the potential here?
Well, it can be very big. I think at a very fundamental level, we need to get people involved. We need to get people interested in winter sports games, winter sports activities. I think the message is getting out. I think the ski resorts and the skating places are all advertising all over China, try to attract the younger generation to spend more time on these activities. And if you think about the potential revenues associated with broadcasting games, for example, competitions. I mean, in the U.S., we have the hockey games, right? And it's a big industry. Many big cities have hockey teams. I was in Denver, for a couple of years, and we have a skiing team, a hockey team in Denver. All these winter sports can be promulgated to the mass population, and it can be a big part of the GDP of the whole economy. And also let me say that when we say ice and snow economy, it doesn't necessarily refer into the winter time. It can be in summertime as well. We have these indoor facilities for ice skating, for example, for figure skating, things like that. So maybe even hockey games. I'm hoping that
there are hockey teams in China too, huh?
Yeah, well, look at the many high schools in the United States have hockey teams, right? I mean, there's a famous term called the Volvo moms. I mean, they drive these Volvo cars with a lot of ice skating gadgets in the back and taking the kids to the hockey games for training. I mean, these things can potentially develop in China as our income levels gradually rise and people get into these more high-end sports games.
Right. Well, it's not just in winter or summertime. It's not just season flexible, but also I know in southern China, for instance, right now in Guangdong or Canton, which is a tropical climate, they're also trying to capitalize on the ice and snow economy. For instance, I understand a lot of Southeast Asian tourists are flocking to Guangdong to ski resort called Hot Snow Miracle. Professor Xu. Yeah, Hot Snow Miracle. That's really a paradox there. And in East China's Zhejiang province, there's an indoor ice rink with 16 professional tracks, and that's also making winter sports an all year round activity. Is it really working? I mean, why are these southern tropical cities joining the ice and snow rush?
I think that two reasons. The first is that the enthusiasm of southern residents for the sports is the main reason. Just as you said in my survey, that the skiing classes, orders in 2024, totally 8 cities, and 5 of them are southern cities. And comparatively, southern cities have higher income, so the ice and snow sports are very in line with people's consume psychology of pursuing quality life. So participation in snow and ice sports is not only a sports activity, but also a fashionable way of socializing and leisure. That is one reason. Second, meanwhile, of course, economic development is also another consideration. That means that the regional governments will do much and in big endeavor to push such kind of spots and industry to be booming, because
we seem to have lost her signal there. Yeah, the Tagi in Zhejiang, are there also the rush to skate, to participate in ice and snow activities?
Oh, in Xinjiang have. I don't have information about that. I have information in the in Jiangsu province have some snow place for them, because I like the skiing. I do in the Beijing. Soon I will go to Beijing, do this in the mountain in the January. But in Xinjiang, I don't have idea about this. But maybe
find out.
I'm mistaken.
Find out.
Yes, I will find it because
Okay.
because we do this because everyone when it's coming December, everyone just do want to see snow and enjoy winter activity, winter sports like this. Yeah.
John, yeah, what about the other cities here in the studio? What about the other cities in southern China? And they're attracting Southeast Asian tourists. I never thought about that. They actually come to China to snow in Canton.
Well, I guess people, would like
to ski, I mean.
Yeah, I think people generally would like to see exotic things they are not used to, things they are not exposed to or easy have difficulties of access to. I mean, in Southeast China, Southeast Asia, of course, it's very hot and humid. You don't get a chance to see snow at all. And I think it's an easy flight to southern cities in China. And why not visiting some ice rinks, for some skiing, for some skating experience. These are the kind of things that people would just like to see because they're not exposed to them easily. It could potentially represent a very large economy. I think, ice skating is another, figure skating, for example, is another sports that needs to be popularized in China. We actually have some great figure skaters in the Olympic Games in the past. I think we have a base of fans, people devoted to that. And, as people's income rises, you take this as a sport, not necessarily for competition, but, just for some good time. I like ice skating. As old as I am, I like to take it to the rings.
That's great.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, Justin, good news for foreign tourists who want to try it all here. China has further relaxed its visa policies as of this December 17th. China has extended the transit stay, for instance, for eligible foreign travelers from previous 72 and 144 hours to 240 hours. That means 10 days. How is it going to further facilitate ice and snow economy?
Well, I think, there's a lot of, as we might call them, bucket list travelers around the world. And to go to exotic places where skiing perhaps might not be mainstream or certainly not mainstream for the international market. So there'll be a lot of people who will add a snow experience onto their trip. There's quite culturally rich parts of China that offer skiing, such as Xinjiang and Heilongjiang province, for example. But they can also, if they're just doing a business trip through Hong Kong or through Shenzhen or Guangzhou, they can go and experience an indoor ski dome, for example, some of the biggest in the world that are kind of multidimensional. And that's a big reason why Dubai actually became very popular many years ago, as people would extend their stopovers to check this off life's list. So I think it's not necessarily going to bring tens of millions of skiers to China, but it might lengthen the stay of the visitors to China, and that's also a boost for the economy.
But going forward, as you're in this sector, going forward, Justin, what kind of challenge do you foresee for the development of China's ice and snow economy?
Well, I think it starts. There's lots of grassroots aspects to it. So, but the biggest say negative or say challenge that the industry will have is keeping people engaged in the sport, because people have a lot of choice on how they spend their free time, how they spend their money, where they can go. They can go to the movies, they can go to the beach, they can go to a theme park, they can travel overseas, or they can do nothing at all. So the challenge will be is how does the industry stay ahead of the preferences of the consumer and brings them something new, keeps them engaged, offers them good service, good value for money, and an overall good experience. That's the global challenge in this industry. China's already doing a good job as compared to other destinations for skiing. They really put on a show. It's not just about come skiing and go home. It's really about creating an experience that lengthens the stay and keeps them engaged, because that's the most important part. So we need engagement. We need the government to keep its strong, positive energy towards this sport. And we could deal with those two issues, and then I think we've got a long-standing, successful industry ahead.
Hopefully. Thank you so much. We have to leave it there. Qinhua, Vice Dean of the National Academy of Development and Strategy at Renmin University of China, Tagi Mamadov, a PhD student at Jiangsu University, Justin Downs, President of Axis Leisure Management, and Professor Gong, Vice President of the University of International Business and Economics, Israel. With that, we come to the end of this special edition of The Point with me, Lu Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and X using the handle Lu Xin in Beijing. On behalf of the whole team, Merry Christmas and early Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. You've got The Point.